I want you to set some standards for yourself. I want you to have the courage to really step into who you came here to be by setting the bar on your own terms, on your own accord. Here's the thing about self-actualization is that eventually you'll reach a point where you are doing more than all your friends, and you're doing more than all your colleagues. You're challenging yourself more than other people. You're more hard than other people. You're more disciplined. You're more scheduled. All of this and that. You're earning more. You're doing more. You're growing more. Eventually, you're not going to be able to look at other people to determine what your standards should be. Eventually, you need to learn how to set your own standard relative to your own values and your own satisfaction levels. See, one thing that actually pisses me off is when someone tells me, or someone compares me to someone else that's doing way worse. It's like, well, look at all these other people that are your age, and how terrible they're doing and how much far ahead you are. And I just tell them, stop comparing me to dog shit. Seriously. Like, I'm not comparing myself to anyone else. I'm comparing myself to who I am, to who I was yesterday, who I was, maybe a year ago. That's where I feel good, because that's really the true metric on what one, I believe, should compare themselves to. Because we all have our own individualized potentials. And so, my potential is going to be way more, for example, than someone else, simply because I'm on a different trajectory. And so when I think of my own personal trajectory, my standard is going to be way higher because I believe my potential is way higher. Does that make sense? I am making a life sentence towards the personal development work. I'm making a life sentence towards building the skills that I want to build. And so my own personal standard for what I want, and I see other people that are operating at a way higher level than I am, and that is the standard that I want to set for myself. It's like, look, I want to look at the people that are at the top of my game, and that is the standard I want to operate at. And so that is me setting my own standards, right? Not looking at, people that are just my age, or not looking at people that are just in the similar domains or whatever, or, people that are in my city or, close friends. Fuck all that. It's about the potential that I see myself in. That is where the true growth lies. Because I know that I can do more. I know I can challenge myself even more. I know I can become 100 times better at what I'm doing right now in all domains. I know I can take it to a next level. And, and to the point where I can even assume everything I'm doing right now is wrong relative to the person I'll become in a year from now, because I will have optimized and changed so many things that I'll simply just call what I'm doing right now as wrong, because that's just how much I will improve. And so imagine where you could get if you just really allowed yourself to set these standards. Set these standards to the point where, what's your normal day is someone else's impossible. See, that's actually what I get a kick out of. I get a kick out of telling someone, what I've done in a day, in a week, in a month, and people just having their jaws drop. Because it's just they're so overwhelmed with me telling them what I just did because they can't even imagine, let alone do it. They can't even imagine themselves going through what I actually put myself through. All this self-inflicted adversity, all these ways that I grow myself. These people can't even imagine it, let alone actually have the courage and fortitude and intent and will to pull it off. See, that's what I really get a kick out of. Actually being able to pull off what a lot of people can't, or a lot of people are not willing. What a lot of people are not willing to pull off. And that's just simply because I have a higher vision of what I want out of this life. I really believe that, it is possible for me to become this super successful, super skilled, intelligent individual. But I also realize that if I want to get to these world-class ideals, I must put in that work consistently every single day. And there is no days off, and there's no weak mindsets, no weak attitudes of like, oh, well, when is it going to be over or whatnot. It's like, no, you're giving yourself a life sentence to sign up for this. You're signing up to have a disciplined life. You're signing up for a life that is full of training every single day. A life of putting in that work because you set that standard. You did. Nobody else is telling you to work this hard. Nobody else is telling you that you need to achieve this much. You are just challenging yourself out of your own accord. Why? Because that is what makes life interesting for you. You are challenging yourself in these ways, seeing if you can make this much money, seeing if you can achieve these great goals, seeing if you can get that body, if you can get that physical strength, that endurance, that mental strength. You're putting yourself through these trials intentionally, these self-inflicted adversity. You're putting yourself through this intentionally because it's a game to you. It's like, let's see if I can do it. You're making games out of life by making challenges to put yourself through. And I believe that is one of the best ways to live life. It's like, not only am I going to thrive with whatever life throws at me, but I'm actually going to add on additional challenge to make myself even more strong than all these other people around me. I'm going to see how strong I can get personally from my own trials and tribulations by embodying a positive attitude of a growth mindset and of a mindset that doesn't give up and of one that is trying to constantly strengthen themselves by setting these high standards. When you can set these high standards for yourself, then you're going to be able to overcome a lot more. What's going to crush another individual is only just going to be a little speed bump on your path. And imagine setting standards so high that eventually, what will kill someone else, is something you do every single day. Just imagine how much power you would have. And this is what happens when you show up consistently every single day. You will actually be able to gain that strength. And that's a really magical thing. But you have to first have the courage to set those individual standards by your own accord, not by what other people are saying. This is why a lot of times you don't even want to tell people what you're doing. You don't even want to tell people your goals, because then you're going to have people looking over your shoulder like, oh, wow, look at you. Look at you did this. Like, you're not looking for that praise. You're just looking for that satisfaction that you did put in another day. And you're looking for that satisfaction of how it's going to feel once you're on day 900 and you're still doing the same, practice routines, and you're still putting in that work. How would it feel on day 900 of putting in that work every single day? Where would you be? And with that, I would like to thank you for watching. And I will see you in the next one.